The zipper is one of the most successful invisible inventions in daily life. You use it on jackets, jeans, bags, boots, suitcases, and maybe without even noticing it. But the zipper was not one perfect invention that appeared fully formed. It was a slow, frustrating process of trial, failure, redesign, and public skepticism. In fact, the device we now call a zipper existed in rough form years before most people trusted it. Today, a zipper feels obvious. Pull the tab one way, and two sides lock together. Pull it the other way, and they split apart. It is fast, neat, and satisfying. But in the late 1800s and early 1900s, replacing buttons and laces was not easy. Early slide fasteners were awkward, unreliable, and not yet practical enough for mass use. The zipper's story is really the story of how a clever idea slowly became a great everyday tool. Before the modern zipper, the path toward the zipper goes back further than many people realize. According to YKK Americas, Elias Howe, better known for the sewing machine, received an 1851 patent for an early clothing closure idea, but he did not seriously commercialize it. The better-known early step came later, when Whitcomb Judson introduced a slide fastener at the 1893 World's Columbian Exposition in Chicago. Britannica describes Judson's device, called a clasp locker, as an arrangement of hooks and eyes with a sliding clasp. It was inventive, but it was still far from the smooth, dependable zipper we know today. Judson's version mattered because it showed the basic dream: a fastener that could open and close quickly with one motion. But a good idea is not the same as a good product. Early designs had weaknesses. They could be finicky, they were harder to manufacture well, and they did not yet give people enough reason to abandon familiar buttons or laces. That is one big reason the zipper did not instantly change clothing. The breakthrough, Gideon Sundback. The real turning point came with Gideon Sundback, a Swedish engineer working in the United States. Britannica says Sundback replaced earlier hook and eye approaches with interlocking elements, creating his hookless No. 2, which went on sale in 1914 and received a patent in 1917. This is generally considered the first modern zipper. That is why the zipper's invention story is often split between the early pioneer, Whitcomb Judson, and the engineer who made the concept truly practical, Gideon Sundback. That distinction matters. If you ask who invented the zipper, the honest answer is that it depends on what you mean. Judson helped establish the early slide fastener idea. Sundback created the much more effective version that actually resembles what we use now. So the zipper was not born in one neat moment. It evolved. Why it took so long to catch on, this is where the zipper becomes a very human story. Even when the technology improved, people did not instantly trust it. Clothing habits are conservative. Buttons were familiar. Laces were familiar. Tailors, manufacturers, and buyers already understood them. A new fastening system had to prove not only that it worked, but that it worked reliably, repeatedly, and at scale. Britannica notes that slide fasteners were used on U.S. Navy windproof flying suits in 1917, but widespread clothing adoption came later, especially in the late 1920s and early 1930s. That delay makes sense. Early practical use often appears in specialized products first, where speed and convenience matter enough to justify something new. Only later, once the product is trusted and manufacturing improves, does it enter normal daily life. The zipper had to earn its reputation before it could become ordinary. Where the word zipper came from, the name itself came later than the invention. Britannica says that in 1923, B.F. Goodrich executive B.G. Work used the word zipper for a slide fastener on overshoes. The catchy word helped. It sounded quick. It sounded modern. It sounded like movement. That mattered, because inventions do not spread through engineering alone. Sometimes they spread because the public gets a memorable name and a clear use case. And that is one reason the zipper story is so interesting. The invention needed better design, better manufacturing, better timing, and better marketing. Only then did it start becoming the everyday object we now take for granted. How a zipper actually works mechanically. A zipper is simple, but cleverly simple. Britannica describes it as two strips of material with metal or plastic teeth along the edges and a sliding piece that draws those teeth into interlocking position in one direction and separates them in the other. Whitcomb explains that the teeth, also called elements, mesh when they pass through the slider, and once they are engaged they form what is called the chain. The important part is the slider. That small metal or plastic piece is doing the real organizing work. As it moves upward, it guides the teeth from both sides into alignment so they lock together. As it moves downward, it forces them apart again. How stuff works explains this using a wedge idea. The slider's shape directs the teeth so they either engage or separate. That is why a zipper feels so satisfying. You are not just pulling a tab. You are controlling a tiny mechanical sorting system. Why good zippers do not jam as much? A good zipper usually fails less because the parts are more consistent. The teeth need to be shaped correctly, spaced correctly, and guided correctly by the slider. If the alignment is off, if the fabric twists, if the slider wears down, or if dirt and damage interfere, the zipper becomes more likely to snag or split. Whitcomb's materials emphasize the importance of structure, precise elements, and slider quality, which helps explain why some zippers feel smooth while cheap or damaged ones feel stubborn. So when people say a zipper just works, what they really mean is that the geometry is right. The teeth are meeting where they should. The slider is applying the right force in the right shape. And the materials are strong enough to survive repeated use. A good zipper feels effortless because a lot of invisible precision is hiding inside a tiny everyday part. The zipper becomes normal once the design improved and the public started trusting it. The zipper spread fast. Britannica says that in the late 1920s and early 1930s, slide fasteners began appearing on clothing for both men and women. Over time, they became common on more than just garments. Bags, luggage, outdoor gear, boots, uniforms, and industrial products all benefited from a closure that was fast and compact. This is one of the best examples of a technology becoming boring in the best possible way. Once something is reliable enough, people stop talking about it and start depending on it. The zipper moved from novelty to infrastructure. It became one of those small inventions that quietly makes modern life smoother. The modern zipper world today, zippers come in different forms for different jobs. Whitcomb describes major categories such as metal zippers, coil zippers, and VISLON plastic zippers, each suited to different uses. Metal zippers are common in jeans and jackets. Coil zippers are softer and flexible. Molded plastic versions can be useful where lightweight or corrosion resistance matters. In other words, the zipper did not stop evolving once it became popular. It kept adapting to new materials, industries, and expectations. Modern zipper manufacturing also became a global industry. Whitcomb, one of the best-known names in the field, traces its own history back to 1934. That later phase reminds us that invention is only the beginning. After invention comes refinement, standardization, quality control, and global production. The world did not just need the zipper. It needed millions and millions of reliable zippers. Why the zipper still matters. The zipper is a perfect example of how everyday life depends on hidden engineering. It saves time. It makes products easier to use. It helps clothing fit modern routines. It appears in travel, fashion, military gear, sportswear, home storage, and outdoor equipment. Most of us barely notice it until it breaks, and that may be the highest compliment an everyday invention can receive. There is also something satisfying about the zipper because it represents a certain kind of human progress. Not grand, dramatic progress, but practical progress. The kind that solves a small problem so well that eventually billions of people stop thinking about the problem at all. That is what happened here. A frustrating fastening problem became a smooth gesture repeated every day around the world. So the next time you zip up a jacket or close a bag, it is worth remembering that this tiny mechanism carries a much bigger story. The zipper was not a single flash of genius. It was a chain of ideas, early attempts, better engineering, patient adoption, and years of refinement. Whitcomb Judson helped start the journey. Gideon Sundback made the modern version practical. B.F. Goodrich helped give it the memorable name. And the rest is one of the quiet success stories of everyday design. For something so small, the zipper changed daily life in a big way. It made closing things faster, simpler, and more reliable. And once you notice how often you use one, it becomes hard not to see the zipper as one of the most successful unnoticed inventions ever made. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe. Then tap the bell icon to turn on all notifications so you never miss any of our future videos.